let's pivot to that. Let's hear a little bit from the two head coaches, the actual head coaches, not the senior advisor to Buccaneers general manager Jason Licht. That would be Bruce Arians. Let's hear from Todd Bowles, the Bucs head coach, and Dennis Allen, the Saints head coach, on this issue of Arians still being on the sidelines, even though he's no longer on the coaching staff.
Well, he's always upstairs, but they didn't have a box to give us this game, so everybody that was upstairs were downstairs.
So Raymond James Stadium this week and on throughout the year, Jason, Bruce, and those guys will be upstairs. Is that
Jason's always downstairs. Bruce is always upstairs.
None of us are supposed to be, in the white painted area. That's generally not an issue unless you get in the way of one of the officials working the sideline, typically during the play. So yeah, I mean, look, typically that's kind of an area that's been reserved for players and coaches, trainers.
You know what I thought? He's being very tactful. I thought yesterday of a certain large-headed analyst getting knocked on his ass by an official during a Colts Chiefs playoff game a few years back for being too close to the white stripe. But look at Arians. Look at him. Bruce, you're retired. Go home. Leave. You're retired. It's like the end of Ferris Bueller where he comes back out and says to the crowd, why are you still here? Yeah. Why are you still here, Bruce? You're either the coach or you're not. You're not the coach. And I understand it's a tough transition, but just go. Bye. Go. Bruce, go. I suspect that if they did a secret poll of all of the Buccaneers players, coaches, and employees, it would come back, we would like Bruce to just leave. Bruce does not need to be around. We need to move on without him. If he's not going to be the coach, it's time to move on. But he can't help himself. And it's one thing to be on the sideline, bench area. It's another thing to literally be on the sideline. When do we ever see someone who isn't the head coach on that white stripe walking up and down like he owns the thing? I couldn't believe that.
I know. Listen, I love Bruce Arians. I do. And I think his edginess and what he did there has, brought a lot of good to Tampa Bay. He's really one of my favorite characters in the history of football. Great offensive mind.
It helped him on Sunday. It helped him.
That's what I mean. He gives them a little edge that way. That's where, he's a little different than Todd Bowles that way. Todd Bowles is always calm, cool, and collect. But I will say the optics are weird. As much as I love Bruce Arians and the fact that he can help himself, that he is like, damn, I'm still part of the Buccaneers, F-U referee and F-U Saints, and he wants to get in the scrum. I love that. I do. I love it. But it doesn't change the fact that the optics are weird. And I even said this, I don't know if you heard me, because I know you can hear some of what we're saying in the room. But before this fight broke out, it's weird that they've shown Bruce Arians more than they've shown Todd Bowles so far during this football game. So that was weird to me. And then, with Todd Bowles saying too, like, wait, they didn't have a box to give us. There's no way. There's no
baloney.
way.
It's BS.
Not like they weren't right. It's not like the Saints were like, oh wait, we forgot the Bucs are coming this weekend. Wait, we usually give the opposing team personnel a box or places to sit, but we forgot we had a game. We didn't do anything for them this weekend. That is some BS there. That's a challenge flag there. I can't buy that.
There was an issue with a national radio box that needed to be used that maybe in the past they've let Jason Licht use, but there were 19 seats in the press box for Buccaneers personnel, and there were seats assigned to Bruce Arians and Jason Licht. And that's how it works. When the Saints go to Tampa Bay, Mickey Loomis doesn't have a box. He's got a seat in the press box.
Right.
And guess what? He sits in it. And if that's not good enough for Bruce Arians, there was an ownership suite, Suite 403 for the Glazers. Oh, and they had 3 other suites the Buccaneers did for that game. I have a feeling that a guy who won a Super Bowl for the team 2 years ago could have found a space to park his caboose for 3 hours and watch the game. He wanted to be down on the sideline for this one.
Yes, right.
He wanted to be part of the effort to try to will the Buccaneers to something that they haven't done on his watch, either with him as the head coach or his guy Todd Bowles, his defensive coordinator, and now the head coach, beat them in the regular season. And I think he knew exactly what he was doing. And I think that he instigated. I don't know. I hope there's some NFL films, footage, and maybe microphone evidence of whatever he said, but we saw who that fight helped. I'm going to retract what I said earlier about if you did a secret poll of the Buccaneers, they would just want this guy to move on. I don't know. Maybe you want him to stick around.
That's
as long as he knows his role, and he doesn't undermine Todd Bowles. That's the danger. He can undermine Todd Bowles.
That's the biggest problem to me. Yes.
But as long as he knows his role, if he's like this ad hoc agitator, then it helped because the Buccaneers responded after the fight, and the Saints didn't.
I think, I would be more along those lines, Mike. I mean, I don't know how Tom Brady feels about him or anything like that. There's been all those rumors, but
just keep him out of my way, and I don't care.
Right, but
I think that's Brady's attitude.
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, it might be, but the one thing I think this is where I love Bruce Arians. He's going to keep guys loose, right? Big game situations, he keeps them loose, and he gives them some edge. He does. He ain't afraid to get in the scrum. I mean, damn, we were out there in week 1 last year. He basically clotheslined his own player and threw him off the sideline when he got in a little tussle. You know, he's different that way. And I do think he gives a sideline some energy in life. But I think what you said there lastly was the most important thing. You just got to make sure you don't infringe onto the head coach's territory. I know they're very close, certainly. But you got to let the head coach be the head coach and let his, what am I talking about? Personality, reflect through the football team. It's his vision now. And that's the only thing I would say be careful about. But, I got no problem with him being there and being part of the team and being in practices and doing all. I think there's a lot of positives, but it doesn't look good in situations like that when he's in the front and center and seems like he's still the head coach and he's getting involved in some situations with Marshawn Lattimore.
Nothing has been reported, nothing has been announced on this, but I hope the NFL sent a clear message to the Buccaneers. Arians stays upstairs, and if he's going to be on the sideline, if he's going to be in the bench area, if he gets anywhere close to the white stripe, we're going to throw a flag. I hope that's what the NFL has communicated to the Buccaneers, because it's just not – because every team could do that. They could all go get an agitator and let him walk up and down the white stripe and just start crap and, at the right time, at the right moment, get the team fired up. There's a reason why every team doesn't have that. It's not how it works, as Dennis Allen said. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.